What's up, everybody, and welcome to our Arrow After Show here at the Stream.tv. First of all, join us using the hashtag Arrow After Show. Tweet at us. We're going to talk about this. WTF? Oh my God. We're going to get into. Well, hold on. I'm Adam. That's Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Carolina, and Linda's back with us now for good.
I'm back.
This is everybody. So let's get into this right away because that episode was intense. I'm just going to say WTF. I mean, there were so many moments where. Let's open up with Speedy's out of control. She's out of her mind, losing it. Let's talk about it.
Well, I think that she's always kind of had maybe some anger issues, and I think that throwing in this like Lazarus Pit thing, I think that she doesn't know how to handle it, and so she's just lashing out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. She definitely has some awesome, fighting skills though, and she definitely comes in to save the day a lot of the times. So. I mean, she does take it to the next level. If she would just tone it down a little bit, I think she would be perfect.
Well,
I'm still a Thea fan.
She's like going
Absolutely.
in for the kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as that episode progresses, you see her get angrier and crazier and wilder. So the opening sequence is like just the tip of the iceberg of what's bubbling in Thea, and then I don't know where it's gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be an explosive volcano.
Yeah, I feel like the Lazarus Pit actually really like brought out all the underlying stuff that's in her, and so it's really kind of coming out now. In she almost like she breaks the guy's arm at the warehouse when they finally get over there and realize that the fingerprints came from the closed down plant of Palmer Tech, and she just breaks the guy's arm. Oliver sends her away and banishes her, and I mean.
And then the fight between Oliver and Thea in their warehouse or whatever, how is she going so crazy on her own brother? That's insane.
Yeah, I think that's where you really see the Lazarus Pit has definitely done a number on her, because she's just not taking it out on villains now. She's taking it out on her own brother, who does everything revolving around Thea's best interests. And the look of hate that she had on her face was...
Oh yeah, she was straight up ready to kill him. Like she was straight up just about to murder him. They had to pull her off. Yeah. So I mean that was intense. And then she finally finds out about the Lazarus Pit because she didn't know. And then Ollie finally comes clean. I mean, that's got to do something, right? That's got to make her feel a little crazy.
But I also think too there was a moment where she was enjoying all the fighting. Like you could see it on her face. So I think that she's dealing with a lot of different emotions. I think anger is one of them, but I also think that she enjoys being a great fighter, and we'll see where she goes with this.
I also did notice that she didn't take it down a notch after she found out that she had, she was affected by the Lazarus Pit. She was still just as angry and still just as feisty as ever. So she wasn't trying to take it down, which is interesting to me.
Well, I think it just goes to show how out of control she actually is. I mean, I think it was pretty surprising that Oliver didn't. I mean, we talked about this while we were watching it. Like, he didn't send her away when they finally do go to save Madison. Instead, he takes Thea and sends the others to take Madison to safety, and then she ends up setting Machen on fire. And the look on her face.
She was reveling.
I mean,
loved it.
She
Yeah.
was so reveling.
She was ready to roast marshmallows. I mean, I swear, she was let me just get a campfire, baby. Let's do this. It was insane.
But for the comic book fans like me who are watching this, and actually it's been on TV before with the Lazarus Pit in the Batman animated series back in the 90s. They did a whole Lazarus arc. That pit has a lot of really crazy mystical powers. And don't quote me because I don't remember, I was young, but I remember it going into the mysticism of it and how it warps your mind, the pit itself, and it changes you and it makes you power hungry and slightly schizophrenic, basically, are the terms that come with it for coming back to life. And I think that they're going to address that more, especially where it leaves off at the end of the episode.
Yes, well, and also, I mean, before we cut over to that, Malcolm does warn Oliver. He says, listen, if you do this, the person that goes into the pit is not going to be the same one that comes out. And clearly we're seeing the results of that. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, Laurel and Thea, under the guise of spa day, decide to go and dig up Sarah, who's still preserved, which... I mean, she's been in the ground a while. I'm curious, how they're going to work around that whole scenario. But obviously, they're going to go resurrect her, which we knew was coming because of, Legends of Tomorrow. But, I mean,
Yeah, I was under the impression that the Lazarus Pit, you had to be, either freshly dead or kind of still alive a little bit. And, Sarah isn't. But I guess when they open the tomb, they realize that she was freshly preserved. So maybe that's going to have something to do with her being put in the Lazarus Pit.
I think that as we move forward in the season, we're going to kind of see where the writers are taking it. But I was absolutely shocked. She looked like, you could pinch her and she was going to wake up.
Yeah.
Well, I was I was expecting one of two things. Either they were going to dig up bones and be like, well, let's just throw the skeleton in and then she'll magically come back. Or it was going to be something where the League already had her somewhere preserved.
Yep.
We said it.
Yeah,
and I was expecting one of the two because, the fact that she was still underground, I mean, it's got to be at least, a few months, right? Mm-hmm. There's got to be maggots or something crawling around in there. I mean,
flawless.
But, I guess, there are points where, look, Damien Dark can suck the life force out of a person. So, I mean, we can suspend our disbelief for just a minute, I think, So maybe it's Thea that ends up in the grave after all this insanity. Maybe she does some craziness with the League of Assassins and, who knows, maybe...
I told you my theory. I think that she's going to end up leaving Team Arrow and joining the League of Assassins because she's going to be irrevocably different. And I think that in hopes of saving the original Canary and going there, it's just going to diverge her from the Arrow team path.
Time will tell. So shots fired. Let's talk about the Mayor Danforth, or Mayor to be and not to be, Jessica Danforth. So she comes back to town and says, I'm going to run for mayor because the city needs something that the Green Arrow can't provide, which is hope and inspiration. And she wants to bring change. And obviously her announcement is marked with gunfire.
I mean, that was the most short-lived announcement or candidacy ever. But we kind of knew that was going to come. We kind of knew that she was going to get threatened in some way. So I was expecting it fully.
Yeah, and then, of course, Ali and Thea decide to protect her, which makes sense, family friend. And I actually kind of had a fun little moment, and I loved it anyhow, when he finally saves her from Anarchy, from Machen, who becomes Anarchy. And she's like, how? And he's like, oh, self-defense classes. And then he jumps over the ledge, and she's just like, I guess, yeah, self-defense will make you, do parkour, I guess. I have no idea, but I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I like it when they bring the light moments in. So.
Well, I was already annoyed at her because I'm like, who runs away with a security guard they don't know?
Yeah,
you're getting shot at. You're gonna run off with the one guy you don't know?
Yeah.
No.
Clearly not someone who makes the right choices. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten elected anyway. So it's good that she withdrew her campaign. But let's keep going though. So Madison gets kidnapped, her daughter, and that kind of throws a whole wrench into it because we sort of see. I mean, we know that Damien Dark is he's a big bad villain. He's horrible, but he kind of has morals.
Yeah.
The way he handled that whole situation with Machen, let's talk about that for a second. I mean,
he's basically saying that, even though, I'm a villain, there's a line that you do not cross, right? And women, children, we don't know what his line is quite yet, but obviously the way that she was kidnapped, he wasn't for it. He thought it was sloppy. So what I found stood out when he was talking about he likes order and discipline. So even though we may not know a lot yet about his character, we do know that in his world there are still some standards that you just don't, and boundaries that you just don't cross.
And it goes to show you also that he's much smarter than any villain, than any average villain. He won't cross those lines. He's gonna think tactically, and he's just gonna be a little bit smarter about his ways of doing things. And I think that's what's gonna make him one of the biggest villains of the season.
And I just wanted to throw in, I think that this actor is nailing this part.
He's amazing. He's awesome.
I'm in awe of how well he's playing Damien Dark.
Yeah, he's great. He is.
You can tell he really enjoys it. He loves playing that evil little edge and really digging it in. He's got great charisma on screen. But with that being said, with them, I feel like Arrow, now that he's being a lighter Arrow by being the Green Arrow and less vigilante, more hero, his villains are becoming much deeper and more layered than what we've seen in the past. So in his path to righteousness, you're going to see a much deeper villain that he's facing now.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's we have to talk about the scene where they obviously save Madison, okay? Because even when he comes in, it's the way he even speaks and everything that kind of he's much lighter. It's much more about doing the right thing as opposed to avenging which is where he was before. I mean, the part where, I don't know about you guys, but the part where he breaks her pinky finger, like we all just were like, no, don't give him your pinky, don't do that. I mean, that was really cringeworthy. I mean, the episode was really filled with a lot of like, oh my, what, why? Moments, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I know we kind of touched upon when, Thea set him on fire, but we should talk about that fight scene real quick. I mean, because, again, back to Oliver putting out the fire.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
But there's to show again. Thea is kind of going off the hinges, but she did save the day. She did come in and she saved Oliver. I mean, she would have let him die and catch on fire, but obviously Oliver stopped that. But she still came and saved him, so I think that was important to note.
Of course.
I feel like the old Arrow would have gotten a bag of marshmallows to roast with her.
With her,
Exactly.
yeah.
And now he's like, no, we can't do that. That's not what we want to represent or how we want to make people feel safe by terrorizing the villains. We need to just put them in their place. So you're also kind of seeing a role reversal between Green Arrow and Arrow now that he's got Speedy going on this like anger.
He's becoming more moral.
And I think that, just to jump off of what you're saying, I think that he's seeing how, in season 1 and season 2 it was so dark, and he's seeing her, Speedy, that darkness that was within him, and now he's like the lighter Green Arrow, and he's empathizing with that. So I think that that's an interesting contrast as well.
Yeah. It's very cool to watch. It's an evolution of his character, which again, I think in any series, if the characters don't evolve, you don't have a good show. And so he is evolving, and that's something that I like to see. Let's talk about the fact that Oliver runs for mayor at the end of the episode.
Green Mayor.
He took my line. Green Mayor. Yeah. I mean, what's up with that? I think it's great. I mean, do we think he can win?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Even with the scandal that's, that follows him and everything that's happened, he's lost his company, his mother almost destroyed the city. He's been arrested because people thought that, he was the Green Arrow, that he was the Arrow, and then it came out, do we think he can win?
Yes, because I feel like the city is terrified and they want someone who's going to stand up to the crap that's going on, and Oliver is not going to back down. He's not the type of candidate you can threaten. Yeah. And I feel like he'll be the backbone that the city is looking for.
Okay, you know what? I think we will see a Green Mayor. I'm
I'm
for
all for
it.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
all
said
for
it at the same time.
I know, because we're all for it.
We all want it. We all want it. Green Mayor.
And I also think too that it gives him a great front. In the daytime, kind of like Superman. So you're mayor by day and Green Arrow by night, and so you're all in the midst of it. So you're actually going to know what's happening before it's happening. You're making the rules and you're saving the city. So I think I'm all for it. Let's do it.
I think it's a good fit, but I do kind of want to see him back at head of the company almost. I know that kind of, it's like a return to seasons 1 and 2, and I kind of want to see him back in the CEO division instead of the mayoral division, because I feel like if you're mayor, you're in the spotlight also. So I on the one hand I like that because he's able to do that by day, but on the other hand, he's under a microscope as the mayor, whereas as a CEO he can. I mean, we all know the CEOs do whatever they want to do. Nobody knows. They're robbing us blind. Yeah. So I kind of do want to see that. Guys, just real quick, we're live, so tweet in, #ArrowAfterShow. Join the conversation. We have a live YouTube chat right now. If you have questions, we're going to get to that soon. So ask us questions. We'll maybe feature you on the show, which will be a lot of fun. And we can talk to you, even though we can't hear you. We can read you. So so Felicity EO, that's my topic right now, where she's sliding into her role as CEO. Let's talk about that for a second, because she's so sweet and not CEO material. What do we think about this?
I think this is a great growing opportunity for Felicity. I wasn't that crazy about her storyline last season. I felt like she went to the back burner, so I'm really excited to see them bring her to the front, because she's such a good actor and her character itself is so interesting. And also, I really think that we're going to see Ray come back, because they've mentioned him being gone. She shut it down. We saw the explosion. We know that Adam exists in the DC Universe comics. So I feel like she's going to discover, this is my prediction.
Okay.
I feel like she's going to discover all the atom technology looking for the next great big thing that she proposed at the end of the episode. And that's how she's going to bring Ray back. She's going to find him.
She's going to find him as a little...
She's going to find him.
Dude, I'm with you.
With
you heard,
Mr. Terrific.
You with Mr.
Mr. Terrific.
We met him. We met him, even though we don't know, but we know.
But we know.
But we know.
That you heard it here. Hopefully here first. That is, I'm so with that.
Yeah.
They are going to find Ray. They're going to bring him back, and that's how he's going to come. I mean, see, they're bringing everybody back.
They totally dropped the bomb on it. The second she was like, well, that's confidential information, and then she goes on to be like, he's like, well, you need to deliver it in 6 months at the board meeting. I think in 6 months, Ray Palmer is going to stroll back through like, hey, they made me big again.
Yep, I'm with you. I love it. I love this. So,
good. That's
so she's obviously doing well. I mean, you know, we see Chester Holt. Okay. We know he's Mr. Terrific. They don't know anything, and obviously, I want to talk about just a little bit about the irony of the fact that he creates this, you know, algorithm that basically is. We find out later he's trying to find a way to make people make more money, and then they use it to fire people, and then he ends up firing himself. Let's discuss that for half a second.
Well, I do like the fact that they're both kind of techie, and I like the team that they're forming. I hope that it continues this season with the two of them kind of working on their tech stuff and kind of solving the Palmer industry problems. And it also made me happy to see that Felicity kind of went back to her old self and wasn't firing those people and figured out a way to keep rehire all of her employees, which was nice.
It was nice to see her kind of like get a backbone and stand up to the board and basically be like, listen, this is how it's going to be, and we already have this, which doesn't exist, but we're not going to tell you that, and we're going to, and you know, she buys herself some time, which we're going to see. I think I'm in agreement with Carolina.
Yeah.
We're gonna see him come back with Ray.
She's gonna find it in like a desperate effort at the bottom hour.
It'll be like 6 months later minus like 14 minutes, and they're gonna, you know, and then that'll be saving the day.
So I read this article, slightly off topic, but kind of in line with what you were saying, where you know we meet Mr. Terrific. We know that he's a techie. My concern is, you know, we flash back to the first episode where we saw someone dies, mid-season, someone dies, and this is like all pointing towards maybe it's Felicity, because you might not need two techies in the show.
Oh.
No.
It's a theory.
Yeah.
It's a theory.
But another theory to save Felicity.
Okay, you do not want to see Felicity go.
No, I don't want to see Felicity go, ever. Another theory is that they're introducing Mr. Terrific because he is in the Justice League, and they're doing Legends. So why not introduce him to the Legends world, introduce him to the fans here, and then move him to Legends?
That works.
That works
That's
too.
a good
Then we don't have two techies on the
buy
show.
techie number 2.
And then Felicity shippers are happy.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
So okay, let's talk about our flashbacks on the island. This was a really interesting episode of Island Flashbacks. I thought. I mean, we see Oliver get dropped off on the island and immediately kill someone.
Yeah.
Let's discuss, because he then blows the guy up, apparently for no reason later, but we learn why.
Well, I mean, I think it was a smart way for him to infiltrate. He killed someone. He made him get set off by a landmine, you know, and then he befriended them. So what he was told to do was to infiltrate, and that's exactly what he did.
I'm just curious to know where they're going with this part of the storyline, because I feel like this is kind of maybe where he gets a lot of his training. I mean, we know that he learns from Shadow. We don't. This was post. No. When this part in the flashbacks, is this happening pre or post Shadow? This is post.
I think it's post. This is post Shadow.
Yeah,
he's already been trained by her.
Yeah, so he's off, and that's right, of course, because otherwise he wouldn't know what he's doing. Hello, stupid. Don't pay attention to me right now. I'm having a moment. But so I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this, because obviously he's falling in line as a soldier because he's infiltrating. What are these flowers in the field? What is going on? Nobody knows. Does anybody know? I have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't even know where they're going with it at all. But.
Curious to see where it's gonna go.
But what I do like is, so we've known that they said on this episode, he's been on the island for 3 years and survived by himself, right? And then now he's going to be a landmine expert. So I'm liking how they're laying down the foundation for maybe how he's developed all of these skills for the Green Arrow. It's possible, but besides that, I'm not sure where they're going with it.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's definitely going to be interesting to see. So let's talk about the secrets. I mean, Diggle and Laurel talk to each other, and he tells her stuff that he's not telling anybody else. Laurel kind of was like a linchpin in this episode. You know what I mean? She's kind of like keeping secrets from Diggle and then making secrets from Ali and taking Thea to Nanda Parbat. Like, what's up with Laurel in this episode?
I feel like Laurel's making a bad decision with her sister again. Laurel just doesn't think things through. Her character never really does. And she's like, oh, well, you came back from the dead, so my sister's going to come back from the dead, knowing that her sister won't be the same person and that she's going to have problems, but that doesn't matter to her.
Yeah.
It doesn't. She's just, no, let's dig her up and let's take her and let's lie to the whole team, and that's going to come back to bite her in the butt.
I think so too.
I think so too.
I think it's a little crazy. One last thing I want to talk about before we go to commercial. And guys, just if you're watching right now, remember, tweet in your questions, live comment on the YouTube channel, subscribe right here, right now. Use the hashtag #AfterShow. And before we go there, I just want to talk about Lance and Damien Darhk and how we see that scene where he confronts him and gets totally put in his place, like literally put on his butt almost. Discuss.
Well, we called it last week how, you know, Damien Darhk had something on Lance, and now it kind of comes to light that, you know, that he has a vulnerable daughter in the city, and he can do anything he wants to her. So that's probably part of the, you know, the getting together of those two, I guess.
There's got to be more. Damien Darhk
That's
is
what I'm
a chess
thinking.
player.
Yep.
This man has got pawns and knights and all sorts of things in front of his plans.
I think so too. I mean, we do see him again. He's like, well, here's the location. Go save her.
Yeah.
But remember, your daughter actually is in trouble. So, bah. And, you know.
I just want to throw this out there. I'm on Twitter right now, and William Williams said something that I think is hilarious. He says, think how pissed Lance is going to be if Oliver becomes mayor. He'll be his boss.
What?
Yeah,
love
so
that.
true.
I love it.
Love that.
So true.
You'd be so
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that dynamic personally.
Right?
Yeah.
So bad.
Guys, we'll be right back with your fan questions. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in a bit.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was
freaking love it.
Oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah?
I was like,
How did you get here? No.
Like, kill him. Kill him. Definitely kill him. We're cool. Shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in.
Rubbed me the wrong way and the right way.
But you were like, well, we want to know what's going to happen.
That was cute.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world. and we
Another
appreciate
beautiful
you so
summer
much.
at the stream.tv, y'all.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Welcome back to our Arrow After Show. What an episode we saw, and we're about to get into some live questions right now. Linda, you've got some Twitter questions.
I do. So we have Anthony Edwards. He wants to know, could Vandal Savage be one of Damien Darhk's associates?
I mean, I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, I think it goes back to what you were saying. Damien is a chess player, so I think that he has a bunch of pawns in the city, and it's quite possible.
I don't think Vandal's a pawn. That's going to be like that's almost like the trick card, because those are 2 very strong personalities, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're associated in some way, shape, or form, but Damien is not the type of villain to take backseat to anybody.
I absolutely agree with that.
I don't think that anything would surprise me at this point. I mean, I feel like it's open season, you know.
Yeah.
Do we have any more Twitter questions from?
We do not.
No more
Tweet
Twitter.
us after show.
Hashtag Arrow After Show. Tweet at us. Let's do the YouTube. Let's do some YouTube, some live stuff, because I know that it's been blowing up, the live chat.
Yes, and look, if you're still on there, you were chatting earlier. I cannot find your name on here. I lost it. I'm so sorry. But someone's been bringing up that a lot of this is the Gotham Arkham plot. And they're seeing it again. I don't know who you were, so if you tweet it down here or you write it in the live chat and I see you, I will say your name for bringing it up. And you guys are right. I mean, Anarchy, Batman villain.
Yep.
Damien Dark, Batman villain. A lot of the villains and a lot of the plots are unfolding a lot like Batman's cases, where it's a lot of detective work and it's layer upon layer upon layer. I love that because I think it makes Arrow a much deeper show. That's what makes Batman so interesting. And Arrow does have that darkness to him like Bruce Wayne does.
Totally.
So it's been interesting to see. But how do you guys feel about it? I want to know. And if you write in, I will give you a shout out and say your name so everybody can keep having this chat, because
Yes.
I thought it was a great point.
I think it's great writing. I think the writers are taking us in a really cool direction and opening up the universe to a lot more, things that were not kind of there before. I mean, we know that look, Ra's al Ghul, that's a Batman villain too. I mean, or he trains with him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same universe, obviously. So it makes sense to bring in the Arkham characters and all that. I think that the writers this season are giving us a lot to work with, and they're really blowing it wide open. And I think that's a great thing because it really makes the possibilities endless. Do we have more YouTube, or should we move on to Twitter?
Ooh, here's a good one. Jennifer Vera on YouTube goes, anyone else notice that Damien Dark was wearing a wedding ring in his scene with Lance? No, I did not notice that.
Interesting.
That's good though.
You know what?
Really good.
If now I didn't pay attention to it, but now that she's mentioning it, I'm remembering it. But it was not like a detail that stood out to me. That's interesting. So he's got a vulnerability there.
He does have some.
If he's married, I mean,
Yeah.
but then again,
I never paid attention, but that could be used against him. Or
Well-
it could be in memory of his wife because of something that happened, and that's why he has a vendetta in the first place.
there's a good possibility. I don't think a guy like Dark is going to really lose sleep over anybody dying, for that matter. I mean,
There is a theory out there. It's not my personal theory, but I've heard it, and I've been seeing it online a lot. So Damien Dark could possibly be married, and we know that Felicity has some father issues, and we noticed that her mom comes back last season, and she's going to be back for a few more episodes. And so going back to that theory where we don't know who dies, it's possible that he's her dad.
Yeah.
It's possible. And it's possible that her mom is the one that dies mid-season, trying to, save her daughter from Damien Dark.
Yeah.
what? I just got chills. No, that's crazy. That's too
Mine
much.
exploded.
Twitter shout-outs. Let's do those, because I can't handle that right now.
I have a couple comments
Yeah,
more than
just
questions.
I can't.
From
my
Jasmine
God.
B, she says, I don't know why Oliver is mad at Thea. He knew the side effects. You practically created her. Don't get mad. I mean, she has a point. Oliver, he knew the side effect. He knew that there were going to be terrible side effects, and he wanted to save her anyway, so.
But, yes, he knows the side effects.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know exactly what they are, but obviously he's going to risk it. And now he still holds her to the standard of who she was, as opposed to the changes that have come in. It's hard. How can you, how can you kind of foresee that? I don't know. That's my opinion.
It's true. I have another tweet from Imo the Merc. He or she says, impressed by Anarchy, was able to hold his own versus Ollie until Thea almost burned him alive. #Arrow. Which is true. Anarchy, I was surprised at how well Anarchy held his own against Oliver. He put up a good fight, so.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be with you on that one. Yeah. I'm gonna do one quick
Sorry.
Reddit.
I found him. It's A.G. Nizuma. I.G.? A.G. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I'm so sorry.
For the comment from before?
Yes, for the comment from before that I brought up that I thought was great about Batman. It's I.G. Nizuma. And I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Well, guys, thank you. First of all, thanks for watching. Keep tweeting at us all week with #ArrowAfterShow. We will answer. We will write you back and join the conversation. Subscribe to the Stream.tv right here, right now. And we'll see you next time. Guys, thank you so much.
Bye.